We've unboxed some very large things on this channel, but this is probably the widest. It is so wide that I'm using an ultra wide lens just to show all of it. But that is because it is an ultra wide. So today we're going to be unboxing and giving our first impressions of the Gigabyte M3 4WQ. You know, gaming monitors really just roll off the tongue with their names, don't they? Hello and welcome. My name is Wolfie, you're watching GreaterThanPie, and today's video is one that I've actually been looking forward to doing for a little while. I played around with triple monitor setups, and my standard setup is a dual set of 16:9 monitors. And I've always wondered what it would be like to actually have a display that was ultra wide. But when I was looking into them originally, they were extremely cost prohibitive. And now, this 144 Hertz IPS gaming monitor that is almost a meter long was actually rather affordable. In fact, it was more or less the same cost as gaming monitors used to be back when I first got into this hobby. And at 1440p, this panel shouldn't be the worst in the world to drive as opposed to many 4K panels. Interestingly, features like USB-C and KVM have also been included into this monitor, which we'll see how that implementation works, as I do actually use a form of KVM in order to switch between my two PCs. If I can eliminate one extra set of wires underneath my desk, well, it would be greatly appreciated. Now, other cool features about this monitor is it has 6-axis color calibration, which allows you to color calibrate it. It is out of the box 94% DCI-P and 106% of Adobe RGB. Those might be flipped. There is a couple of extra OSD settings such as game assist stabilizer, cheat reticles, flicker-free speakers, and auto update, which I'm not exactly sure how that works. Probably through your PC, through the KVM, which makes some sense. And it is VESA certified HDR 400, which isn't the best HDR experience, but it can at least display HDR. All right, that's enough from the outside of the box. Let's actually get inside of it. There's a single security tab right there. Boom and boom. Okay, so this box does have instructions on how to unbox it, which I'm going to follow because, yeah, it's a lot here. So it's actually saying this side up. So tilting this way. We're gonna rotate this, I think. Okay, so this side up. We tilt it down. And then this goes up and we pull from in here. Okay, this is a bit of a workout to actually get into this. There we go. This looks upside down. Okay, it's gotten weird. I followed the instructions with the right side up, but it feels upside down. So we're just gonna set that down. We've got our stand, which is a nice batwing shaped doodad with two extra girthy little support pieces, and then the screw to attach it onto. We have HDMI. We have European power connector. We've got USB, and that USB terminates into a single port, display port, US power cord, and wait, actually, 2 US power cords? No. Oh God, this thing has like extra international plugs. Asia. So the only thing I'm concerned about is the KVM piece of the equation. It doesn't feel KVM-y. If it only has a single host piece, then that means that we won't be able to switch, which I thought the whole aspect of KVM was to just switch, because it would just be a hub at that point. And this is most definitely, yeah, it was upside down the whole time. That was weird. I literally followed the instructions, and this is definitely the front of the panel. So we're just gonna do this. There we go, that's the back of it. Okay, along the back, you can actually see right here, we've got our mounting plate. And this does have base 100 screws actually screwed right into it. So you can boop right into that if you wanted to. Right here is another girthy piece. And it looks like the entire installation is gonna be toolless, which is pretty nice. Okay, and to install. Done. All right. Not bad. It's like a TV if you cut it in half. On the monitor itself, we have height adjustment, no swivel, pivot. It makes some sense to not have swivel on something this large. And wow, that is one big display. For ports on the actual back of this, there are 2 USB ports for preferably keyboard and mouse. There's a USB-C port, which I believe can be both for video and also data pass-through. There is a USB out, which goes to your computer itself, along with a display port and 2 HDMI. In addition to having speakers, it does also have a headphone port on the back, which is actually how I normally route my speakers, because then it just goes to the HDMI. And it relies on the DAC built into the display itself. On the back, there's a KVM switch and also a navigation nipple, which is also your power button. Pretty standard these days. Let's go ahead and set it up and see if ultra-wide gaming is truly the next frontier. Let's start with Cyberpunk 2077. I think this is a game that will benefit from being mostly screen like this. That being said, it's probably going to be really hard to run. Oh, there it goes. Oh, whoa. Okay, I gotta say, Night City looks pretty good this wide. It's like I'm actually looking through V's eyes. Got a crowbar and a blood pump. Oh, that's not a bad Cybermon. I mean, I gotta say, it looks pretty darn good. All right, let's switch to a game that I know we can easily get that 144 hertz going. All right, we got Doom Eternal. It's set to Ultra Nightmare. And we're gonna go back to our typical test map, which is, you know, heck on earth. This looks really good. Locked to 144 hertz. It's hitting the refresh rate of this monitor perfectly. Okay, Doom Eternal aside, monitor-wise, pretty dang good. Like, the black levels look really good. The actual, like, everything looks really crisp on it. And I am saying that from, like, the perspective of somebody who's played on a couple different monitors at this point. This game just looks good. This is cool. Oh, this is real cool. It's a lefty car, which means this is probably a European only car. Where am I gonna drive this thing to, like, do anything? Marathon? Okay. Let's hit maximum speed and look at this motion blur. I mean, it's not bad at all, actually. Like, this is very much perceivable. Like, how's the best way to put it? This is how I would perceive this would look in real life if you were going this fast. Like, things aren't really, like, causing ghost. Oh god, oi! That was amazing. Well, I think you can see that my setup's gotten a little complicated now, hasn't it? But that's because I consider this monitor worth living on my desk forever. Well, at least until I get a different one. I don't think I'm ever going to go back from ultra-wide gaming. Now, I know I am a very specific type of gamer. I own a Valve Index. I am a VR gamer. I enjoy VR gaming. Therefore, when it comes to having a screen that takes up most of my peripheral vision, I enjoy it. I consider it immersive. I was playing Doom Eternal and, like, everything was Doom Eternal, and that was great. Like, I really, really enjoyed that. The screen itself looks good. Color calibration on it is pretty good. I'm going to throw up the DCI-P, the sRGB, and the Adobe RGB numbers right up here. There's a lot of settings inside this monitor that I haven't even really played around with. It's also one of the few monitors that I haven't turned on EMB Sync because I don't think it needs it. It's good out of the box. Every game that I played that's allowed it to go to those wider resolutions looks good. Forza Horizon 5 was another game that I spent a lot of time playing, and I mean, despite it letterboxing the menus, which freaks me out when trying to set the whole thing up, the actual display worked great. And the game itself, well, it was just phenomenal. Overall, I'm really impressed by this. And while ultra-wide gaming is expensive, I mean, this monitor costs this much, and it is something that's worth investing in if you want to have a more immersive gaming experience. I think with like side lighting, like the thing that Govee has where it looks at your screen, that would definitely take this to the next level. We'll be trying that probably soon. Put a pin in that because there's a lot going on with that. Now when it comes to productivity, this monitor is a beast. Like, there's no beating around it. You can almost have what is equivalent to one full screen application on there across two of them without really compromising on much. Now, unlike having a screen in profile, the long way, you don't really get as much of an advantage for anything that has a lot of scrolling, but in something like Premiere, where you have a lot of windows that have to be open, it's possible to have everything open at once and be usable. I actually edited a video where I just used the two screens with one thing on top and then everything else on the bottom, and it was the fastest edit I've ever done. I guess really I should talk about this whole configuration about having it top to bottom like this. And while it is weird, luckily my chair reclines and I could just kind of lean back and don't even have to really adjust my neck all that much. And I actually think it's more comfortable than having to whip my neck left and right when I had the multi-screen setup set up that way. Though it does lead to some soreness at the end of the day. Now, I didn't have to go nearly as hard on editing the colors to make it look right. I actually really didn't touch that setting at all. It just was good out of the box. The KVM was a little disappointing, and that's because the way that the KVM works is it's expecting you to use a laptop and plug that laptop in via USB-C and then switch the KVM. It didn't work as intended, so my old KVM is still hooked up. Additionally, you can't change the display and the KVM separately. They're connected. It's really weird. I think it would be great if I actually used a laptop and my desktop instead of two desktops, but it wasn't really that usable to me. The stand itself that it came with was great. The only reason that I changed the stand was so that I could stack monitors. Overall, I can recommend this experience, especially for those who want to have sort of the best between gaming and productivity, which is probably why ultrawides are infinitely more popular with content creators than you. I did a poll about this, and you guys absolutely destroyed the ultrawide as an option. Granted, I didn't say ultrawide plus a 16:9, but at the same time, it was very, very clear that you guys prefer two 16:9 as opposed to an ultrawide. And that is very different than, well, if I were to just poll YouTubers who would have definitely said the ultrawide more often than not. And can I blame you guys? They're expensive and it's very difficult to even shop for one. So at least I could help you with this one. I think it was worth as much as I paid for it. And realistically, I think it was a pretty good monitor. But let me know what you think down below. And while you're down there, why not check out our merch store? Or even check out another one of our videos. Anything you do to interact with this helps us out. So I'll see you in the next video. Wolfie, out.